Welcome to Sunday School.
We hope you have a great time with us this morning.
Hello everyone, welcome to Sunday School. Me and Waffles are having a nice relaxing time having a look at a book. Waffles, would you like to show everybody what the book is? You got it? It's called The Servant Queen and the King She Serves. It's a book about our last queen, Queen Elizabeth II, and it tells about her faith in God and how that helped to be queen. Now, Waffles was a big fan of Queen Elizabeth II, weren't you? And why was that? Corgis. Yes, it's because the Queen loved her corgis. In fact, she loved all dogs, and so Waffles was a big fan. Now, today we're going to learn about Queen Esther, who was a queen in the Bible, and that's following on from David talking about King Solomon last time. But before that, we've got a quiz about the Queens of England. So, all you have to do is put the 5 queens in the puzzle in the right order. That's the order that they were queen in. So the first queen comes first, the second queen comes second, next queen comes third, next queen comes fourth, and then the most recent queen, she's 5th. That's all you've got to do, but it might be a bit difficult, mightn't it? So I think it's a good idea if you get somebody else in the house to help you. Why not get everybody to have a go and see who gets the most in order? So enjoy the puzzle and we'll be back soon.
Queens of England. Meet the Queens. Queen Anne was the first Queen of England to rule over Scotland. Queen Elizabeth II was our longest reigning monarch, queen or king. Queen Mary was not a nice queen. She had a lot of people killed. Christmas trees became popular in England for the first time after Queen Victoria's family had one. Potatoes were brought to England from America during Queen Elizabeth I's reign, and we have been eating them ever since. Can you put the queens in the correct date order? Hurry up, you've only got a minute. Time's up. Are you ready for the answers? Did you get them in the right order?
How did you do at the puzzle? Wow, that was really good. It was quite difficult, wasn't it? So you did very well. Well done. All the queens in the puzzle were all reigning monarchs, so that means they were in charge of the country. They were queens in their own right. But there is another way that you can be queen. So King Charles, at the moment, our king, he's married to a lady called Camilla, and she's known as the Queen Consort Camilla, but it'll probably get shortened to Queen Camilla as time goes on. And the queen in our story today, Queen Esther, she was a queen consort because she was married to the King of Persia. They had a sort of beauty contest in Persia, and Esther won because she was the most beautiful, and that's how she came to be married to the king. So let's find out a bit about her now.
Slapstick Theater. Esther's request to the king. This is Esther, who was a Jewish orphan who lived in Persia during the reign of King Xerxes. Esther was adopted by her relative, Mordecai, who worked in the palace of the king. Once, Mordecai had even saved the king's life.
Yep.
Esther became the queen of Persia, but no one knew she was a Jew because Mordecai told her to keep it a secret. This is Haman, who is the second most powerful man in Persia. Haman hated Mordecai because Mordecai wouldn't bow down to him. So Haman convinced King Xerxes to make a decree to kill all Mordecai's people, the Jews. When Mordecai learned about this, he was very upset, as were all the Jews in Persia. When Queen Esther's servants came and told her about how upset Mordecai was, she sent one of her servants, Hatak, to go to Mordecai and find out what was troubling him. So Hatak went out to Mordecai, and Mordecai told him of the plan to kill God's people. Mordecai said that he wanted Esther to go to the king to ask for him to save the Jews. Esther knew that anyone who went to the king without being called could be put to death. But Mordecai reminded Esther that she may have been made queen for such a time as this. So Esther asked for the Jews to pray for her and fast for 3 days. Then Esther put on her royal robes and went before the king. When the king saw Esther, he was happy to see her and asked, "What do you want, Queen Esther? I will give it to you, even if it's half the kingdom." So Esther asked the king if he and Haman would come to a banquet that she had prepared for them, and the king agreed. Esther held a banquet and then asked the king and Haman to come to a second banquet the next night. That night, the king was reminded of how Mordecai had once saved his life. King Xerxes decided that he must honor Mordecai and that Haman would help. Then, at the second banquet, Esther told the king about the plot against her people. The king was angry and asked, "Who would do such a thing?" Esther said it was Haman, and the king ordered Haman to be killed on that very night. But the decree to kill all the Jews was still in place, and the Jews were still in danger. So Mordecai asked the king to issue a new decree so that the Jews could defend themselves. The king did, and the Jews defeated all their enemies. God's people were saved and celebrated their great victory.
Esther is a true story in the Bible, but in some ways it reads a bit like a fairy story. After all, Esther starts from very humble beginnings as an orphan, and in the end she becomes the queen of all Persia. And there's even a baddie in the story that we can boo and hiss at. That's Haman. In fact, you could go back to the start of the video and watch it again and remember to boo and hiss every time he comes on. And of course, like all the best fairy stories, it's got a good happy ending. But there wouldn't have been that happy ending if Esther had not been brave enough to go and see the king. But she knew that she needed God with her when she did this, which is why she got all the other Jewish people to pray and to fast. That means sometimes to go out without food for 3 days. So let's have a listen to a song which reminds us about the story.
Esther, who was brave and a beautiful queen, she heard a terrible plan of someone who was mean. The man's name was Haman, and he hated Mordecai. Haman made a decree to kill all of his kind, and there was nothing he could do. Mordecai said to Esther, tell the king something's amiss. He said, what if you were made queen for such a time as this? Esther knew she'd get in trouble for going to the king, so she asked for the Jews to pray for her, and waited 3 long days. Esther put on her robes and went before the king. The king was so happy, he said he'd give her anything. Esther held 2 banquets and told him everything. The king was angry and asked, who would do such a thing? Who would do such a thing? Esther said that Haman was the man, the one who came up with the plan. Haman was terrified, he went pale with fright. The king ordered Haman killed on that night. That very night. But the plot was still in place, and the Jews were in harm's way. The king issued a decree, defend yourselves however you may. The Jewish people were safe because of Esther's bravery, and the Jews celebrated their victory, their great victory.
Sometimes we all need to be brave, like Queen Esther was brave. It might be that we're facing something difficult, perhaps something difficult we've got to do at school. Or maybe we just feel frightened about something. It's always good to know that we can talk to God and we can tell him whatever's happening, and we know that he'll be with us. But sometimes it's also good to have other people pray with us, like Esther had the Jews pray for her. So, do you know somebody who loves God who'll pray for you? Maybe somebody in your family or one of your friends. But if not, why not get in touch with us at the Oaks Church? We love to hear from you, and we will definitely pray for you and ask God to be with you. Now, the next Sunday school is David again, and he's going to start telling us about Christmas. It's exciting, isn't it, Waffles? Yeah, Christmas coming really soon. But for today, it's bye from me and Waffles. Bye for now.